Scarcity is not primarily an economic condition. It is a nervous system state. Long before a person lacks money, they lack internal stability. The body contracts, the breath shortens, the mind narrows, attention collapses into threat scanning, decision making becomes reactive, time perception shrinks, everything feels urgent, fragile, and insufficient, even when material conditions improve. That is why many people remain trapped in scarcity psychology even after their income rises. Their nervous system never learned safety, so it continues generating threat regardless of circumstance. Addiction does not only apply to substances. Addiction describes any loop where the nervous system becomes dependent on a familiar internal state. Even if that state is painful, scarcity becomes addictive because the body adapts to hypervigilance, tension, and constant problem scanning. Chaos becomes familiar. Calm feels foreign. Stability feels suspicious. When a nervous system is conditioned in environments of unpredictability, conflict, deprivation, or emotional volatility, it learns to stay activated. That activation becomes the baseline. Over time, the body begins to crave the chemical cocktail of stress hormones because it feels normal. This is why many people unconsciously recreate financial crisis, relational instability, work overload, or emotional drama, even when opportunities for stability exist. Their nervous system feels uncomfortable in peace. It seeks intensity to feel alive. Scarcity becomes an identity, not just a circumstance. People say they want abundance, but their nervous system rejects the sensation of safety, spaciousness, and predictability that abundance brings. Scarcity addiction expresses itself through compulsive behaviors, overspending to suit identity, hoarding to feel control, avoiding financial responsibility to escape overwhelm, sabotaging savings because stability feels unfamiliar, creating unnecessary emergencies, choosing chaotic environments, staying in underpaid roles despite opportunities for growth. These behaviors often feel irrational at the conscious level, yet they feel emotionally compelling at the nervous system level. And the body learns scarcity through repetition. Childhood environments where resources were unpredictable, caregivers were stressed, conflict was frequent, or emotional safety was inconsistent, imprint deeply. The nervous system learns that the world is unreliable. It learns to stay alert, tense, and reactive. Even decades later, the body carries this imprint. Money becomes a trigger because it symbolizes safety, survival, power, and belonging simultaneously. Scarcity addiction also passes through generations. Trauma imprints travel from family nervous systems, relational dynamics, and behavioral modeling. Children inherit not only financial conditions but emotional responses to money. Fear, secrecy, shame, impulsivity, mistrust, or avoidance becomes normalized. Even when material circumstances change, the internal wiring often remains unchanged. Modern cultures amplify scarcity addiction. Advertising thrives on insecurity. Social comparison intensified inadequacy. Economic systems reward speed and extraction. Digital platforms fragment attention and increase anxiety. News cycles monetize fear. All of this keeps nervous systems activated and hungry. A regulated nervous system is harder to manipulate than a dysregulated one. Scarcity also distorts perception. When a nervous system is activated, cognitive bandwidth narrows down, creativity reduces, long-term thinking disappears, people become risk averse or reckless. They make short-term decisions that undermine long-term stability. They confuse relief with progress. They trade future security for immediate comfort. Scarcity literally shrinks the brain's capacity to evaluate complexity. This is why teaching financial tactics alone does not dissolve poverty. Without nervous system regulation, strategies fail under pressure. People know what they should do but cannot execute consistently when anxiety surges. They revert to familiar survival patterns automatically. Breaking scarcity addictions requires retraining the nervous system, not just changing beliefs. The body must learn that safety can exist without chaos. That calm does not mean danger is approaching. That stability can be trusted. This retraining happens through consistent exposure to regulated environments, predictable routines, healthy boundaries, gradual responsibility expansion. It cannot be rushed. One of the first steps in learning to tolerate stillness is silence, predictability, boredom, spaciousness. Many scarcity-wired nervous systems experience these states as uncomfortable or even threatening. They reach for the stimulation to recreate familiar intensities. Training yourself to remain present in calm without filling the space builds new neural pathways within the brain. Another step is building small predictable wins, like saving consistently, tracking finances calmly, paying obligations on time like bills, maintaining routines. You borrow money, you pay as soon as you have it. These behaviors teach the nervous systems that order exists and can be maintained. Over time, trust replaces hypervigilance. Scarcity addiction also weakens self-trust. People doubt their ability to handle future challenges. They catastrophize. They over-prepare. They avoid everything entirely. Rebuilding self-trust requires proving competence through repeated execution of small responsibilities. Confidence grows from evidence, not affirmation. The nervous system must also learn to separate urgency from importance. Scarcity collapses everything into immediate threat, and regulated systems distinguish between what requires immediate action and what requires patience. This restores strategic thinking. Another critical piece is learning to regulate emotional spending and emotional withholding. Both are expressions of scarcity. One seeks relief through consumption, the other seeks control through deprivation. Neither creates abundance. Abundance emerges when spending aligns with value rather than emotional state. In other words, you spend on things you actually need. Scarcity addiction also distorts generosity. Some overgive to gain approval. Some overgive to avoid guilt. Others undergive to preserve control. Healthy circulation emerges when giving is intentional, not emotional. The process of unwiring scarcity takes time. The nervous system must feel safely repeatedly before it releases old patterns. Setbacks are part of the process. What matters is consistency, not perfection. As scarcity loosens its grips on you, something subtle changes. Your breath deepens, your attention widens, your decisions slow slightly. You feel less rushed internally, even when busy externally. You become less reactive to external pressure. You begin trusting delayed reward. You tolerate uncertainty with more ease. You feel less compelled to prove or protect constantly. This is when abundance becomes embodied rather than conceptual. Not because money suddenly explodes, but because your nervous system becomes capable of holding stability without sabotage. Wealth flows more naturally into regulated systems because chaos no longer repels it. The Duchess beam or the goddess beam aligns with regulated nervous system. She moves through order, coherence, rhythm, and stewardship. She does not reward frantic chasing or emotional desperation. She responds to calm consistency. Scarcity is an addiction of the body, not a failure of character. Once you see it clearly, you stop shaming yourself and start retraining intelligently. This is the door out of financial weakness. This is the discipline of bones or being.